We'll be right with you.
Features dropping, hear the roar. Bug, smash, function, fire. We build the tools that never tire. Racks full, check out flies. Speed increase, no compromise. Load fix, ignite flame. Your parts will never be the same. Racks are full, check out flies. Speed increased, no compromise. Load the fix, ignite the flame. Your PRs will never be the same. coreSTORE, power in your hands. coreSTORE, we take the stand. Update live, release the beast from coast to coast. It never ceased. Inventory locked, precision tight. Reports that hit like dynamite. Faster screens, tighter flow. We keep your business in control. Raise the volume, kill the noise. These updates are not a choice. Dominate.
I think we're going to turn it down a little bit because we need to talk a little bit about this music. And I just want to know whose music is this? Okie?
Mine. Hey, Mal said she likes it. How can I get this audio intro?
Well,
That's right.
yeah. That's just a little. My veins are just on fire right now. So
How else do you get pumped during the day, Joel?
thinking about how I want to help our customers just freaking crush it. But if you need music to do that, Okie, I guess I understand. Hey, no, seriously, I want to. You might see our background, and the reason I have this background is someone finally did it, and I just want to thank Adam Spencer and Cameron from Shoot Center, and for sending some pictures of the food that you guys got with your Uber Eats card. So you've got me wanting to absolutely go crush a pepperoni pizza because that pizza looks absolutely amazing. Like, I am so jealous right now. And even Okie was like, dude, just feed it to me. So, yeah,
Our Papa John's doesn't look that good. That's all I
does
can say.
not. I've never seen a pizza, and these are like no joke pictures. So I appreciate that, Adam. It's my gosh, man. I'm just like, I'm really jealous right now. So anyway, today we're going to be talking briefly about some maybe things that are going on with coreSTORE, and we've got again with us Josh Okie and Colt English, and
Hey guys.
yeah, these guys are gonna be taking over. And Okie, you should have that link, so anyone that can't join should be able to join now.
Thanks, Shannon. All right, I will get that link out. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so, Shannon, I appreciate it. The hat is awesome. I've been wearing it for a week now, and I usually go through hats pretty quick. Just so, just so you know, I'm trying not to get this one all sweat stained and dirty though. So, so the first thing I want to cover, guys, is we delayed our coreSTORE update. We have some more changes that we're putting out. So just to kind of give you guys a heads up, within the next week or so, you will be required to change your coreSTORE password to a more secure password. As you know, most websites, companies, etc., are requiring a 12-digit or alphanumeric password with a symbol, a number, etc. So what we are doing is we are revamping the login on coreSTORE to give us a more secure backend for you and our users. We want to make sure that you know, that you guys have the ability to keep data secure and not be compromised. So let me just share my screen and I'll show you kind of the changes that are coming up here.
And really quick, your password should not be "this is my password" one exclamation point.
Exactly,
Just
exactly.
throwing that out there.
Stay away from,
Better
you
than some
know,
I've seen.
two-digit, four-digit passwords. You know, don't use your debit card PIN number, etc. You know, you want to keep secure. So, um, what we want to do is we want to give you guys the opportunity to have your users to go in and change this password, like I said, within a week. So probably by the, I'm going to say the 15th, we're going to go ahead and we're going to require anyone's password who has not been updated or changed to be forcefully changed by you guys. So you will be greeted with that. So if I came in and let's try to log in here. Oh, of course. Let me go back. All right. So I must already be in. Let's try this again here. Okay. So you'll be greeted with you must change your password. And it does say required by the person who created your account. All that's stating is we are requiring you to change your password. So as you start, you'll see we'll now have the notification here, 12 characters, at least one number, one special character. So if I go ahead and we'll make this one different than my last password here. Obviously, everyone knows how to use to change a password, but to kind of give you a little overview on what will happen. So now that this has been logged in, the password has been changed, you will not have to always type in a 12-digit password. What we're looking to do is if the user is authenticated with the password and it's an authenticated device, you'll be able to use your PIN number inside of coreSTORE once you get past the initial login. So if you're quick changing users are already in the system, you will not have to type in the 7-digit pass or the 12-digit password there. So if I go ahead and just switch user, and I'm going to go to my kiosk just to show you quick. Save this.
Also, we have with us a new guest. Can anyone guess who the new guest is?
Well, hey, Ezra.
You're crushing under the pressure of knowing I was here.
Everything was running fine until Ezra joined.
Hey, I'll believe.
Wow. My goodness.
So as I switch back over to Josh, though, obviously my password is now incorrect because I do not know what I set my PIN to earlier. So that's my fault. But at the end of the day, you're going to be able to use your 4-digit PIN number to switch inside of coreSTORE, but we will require to use at least 12-digit secure password with a capital letter, a numeral, and a symbol of your choice for that initial login.
Hey, Oki,
you know,
not to put
yes.
you on the spot or anything, but what if one of our customers goes through what you just went through? Can you give us a way to get out of it? Not
Yes.
again. No more stress or anything. I can see someone having this same issue.
Yeah, well, if you run into an issue as far as logging in, your admin will be able to go in and force a password change request or establish a PIN number for you. So one of the admins at the business will have the ability still under employees to make those changes.
Gotcha.
Guys.
And just to confirm, we're not doing that. Coreware employees support is not going to be doing that, correct?
Correct. We are not going to be changing the password. We want this to be secure. We don't need to know your password here. We have our own login, but you guys will be directed to update your passwords. And as I said, this new login will go into effect with our next update. but we are going to give you guys a week to change those passwords as not to disrupt business and forcefully make everyone do that at one time in the morning. So that's what I have for the new login screen. Did we want to segue elsewhere? Otherwise, I can go over assemblies.
No, did you want me to just step in and talk
Yeah.
about the change a little bit? I think it's just important for everyone to know that's here. We're always looking at security and making sure that we make sure that the systems that we're creating for you are as secure as possible. When it comes to point of sale, everyone's used to putting in a 2-character sales associate name, right? Your initials and your PIN number. And, that works if your system, and we've obviously supported it for years. But at this point, since we are a web-based system, which again, everything has pros and cons, right? The pros, you can be at home and you can go check your store sales, and you can also secure that. And we should mention that. So if you want to limit the ability of even your staff to log in from just your location, you can do that. You've always been able to do that. And that's probably something we can quickly bring up on a screen just to show everyone. And that's something, if you want to set up in your store, you can actually set it up in your store to only allow logging in from your store, from the router that's in your store. And every router has what's called an IP address, which is a unique address, no different than your physical address. There's a unique address for every network device that's in your establishment, including your actual router. So a lot of people prefer to set up any employees that clock in. They want to make sure they're clocking in not from their phone, not from their house. You want to make sure that you're clocking in from the actual store. So that's a good security measure to put in. And Josh, can you bring up that setting?
Yep.
And share your screen? Because that's always a good setting to talk about when it comes to security. And if you can zoom in a little so my old eyes can see. So you'll see here, you can actually, there's a time clock IP restriction. And you can put multiple IP addresses. And again, I'm pretty sure we have a good knowledge base article on this, but IP address, for those of you who, I think everyone's heard of the term IP address. It's a set of numbers that basically are assigned to any device that's on the internet, has a unique IP address. Now, again, if you think about it, if you're in your store and you have a Wi-Fi router, right, your individual machines aren't really connected directly to the internet. They're connected through that router. So that router is assigned what's considered a public IP address, where your devices in the store, they have IP addresses, but they're private a lot of times because you're within your store, right? And the only way that your device talks to the internet is through the router's public IP address. So if I'm confusing you completely, if you've got, someone that helps you with your setting up your computers and setting up your routers, this is where you would put the IP address for that router, right? That's in your store. And what that means is it prevents your employees from accessing coreSTORE outside of your store, and make sure that they're in the store before they can clock in. So that's always a good security measure to take. But again, in the past, we weren't very strict on passwords because obviously if you have your store set up to change or to request someone to log in after every sale, if we would have forced long passwords, we'd have a lot of unhappy employees and a lot of unhappy customers, our customers and your employees. You as a customer wouldn't be happy with us because it takes so long. But I should mention, in general, we do also support the ability to turn on just a facial recognition as well. So that's another way to log into the system. So at the end of the day, we try to make it as easy as possible. And again, we can, after this webinar, point to the article that talks about how to set up the facial recognition. It's still private to your business. So the system only compares the images that you upload for each employee. So it's not using some public database, and the data is not stored publicly. So it's fully secure, fully safe to use. And it's a quick way, if you have a webcam on your device that you're running coreSTORE, you can use the webcam to log in. But again, just based on proper security measures, we wanted to make sure we started implementing a more secure password requirement. But what we didn't want to do is disrupt the business operation, right? So everyone's used to just entering, a quick password, or in this case, we're allowing that PIN number. So the nice thing is if you're on a device that you've already changed your password and you logged into that device, it will recognize that device is in the store, and it will say, hey, I don't need the full password. I just need the PIN number. So it's really best of all worlds. We probably should mention that if you find that you're being forced to enter the password each time, there may be just an extra security level that you have on your network that's preventing us from recognizing that device, right? So just contact our support, and they'll be ready to help and assist with any issues that occur. But again, in the next few days, right, we're going to roll this out. I think the update's going to hopefully happen tonight, or maybe tomorrow night. There's some other updates that are going in, which are some pretty cool updates. I think, Josh, you're going to go over some of the other updates, and definitely if anyone has any further questions, just let us know.
Absolutely. And I did go ahead and I threw the article in there that goes over setting up the facial recognition, and also 2FA and the IP restrictions. They are all in the same article, and there's a video in that article for you guys too in the comments. All right. So actually, we didn't get a chance to go over. Oh, go
real
ahead.
quick. I'm sorry, I was on mute. I just wanted to let everybody know I'm pasting the Core 2.0. That's how I found it's like provides multiple sources for what you're talking about. So if you guys could give that Core 2.0 a little run there, it's in the chat. I didn't know, just real quick, because I want everybody to understand. Maybe in the past you've interacted with a chat bot, and it's like it's really clunky, and maybe it wasn't working. If you give this one a try, I promise you it's going to provide some really good quality information. So just give it a try, because
Hey,
I
Joel?
didn't know where to look either. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm looking at this URL. We should be able to give them a much shorter and cleaner URL. So work with Wits on that. If we're starting to push Core 2.0, it doesn't have to be some elaborate.
Yeah, it's just we're wanting people to test, but I absolutely I'll
Cool.
get Wits to shorten it.
All right.
There you go. I'm sorry, Oki.
It's okay.
What would a
It's quite all
webinar
right.
be without me interrupting, man?
Well, now I'm interrupting. It makes it double the fun, Joel.
I know.
He's going to
Doing
leave
good.
soon.
Yeah,
Please
now you
can
guys
jump
got
in
me
and
all,
steer us like
all sweaty and
last
hot because you're in here. All right. So what I wanted to cover, since we did push the release notes back, I was kind of panicky on, hey, what can I do on this webinar to help educate or show you guys what coreSTORE can do. I'm not sure how many people have used assemblies. We have made some changes on assemblies to, show your cost, your selling price. One thing I really think our client base can take advantage of is, think of Build-A-Bear. You have people going in, picking out their stuffy and what they want to put on it, etc. Well, let's move that over to the firearms industry. You know, you have people who want to have a specific firearm built, whether it's for competition shooting or hell, they just want to have the coolest gun out of their friends and relatives. I really think we can use the assembly module in the system to help build that as kind of a business model for you guys, like Build-A-Bear, and offering another service to your customers as far as, you know, creating custom ARs, custom shotguns, etc., for your clients. So if you take a look, Joel, if you want to throw my screen up, I wanted to talk about assemblies. So underneath the inventory and the assemblies module, you'll see here that I have 4 different types of assemblies. I have this Palmetto State Armory down here. I have I have a bike assembly I was doing, but then I have my own custom Gunworks AR-15. So how this works is you're going to want to build a recipe. I call it a recipe list or a build list. So in the top right-hand corner, you'd hit New Assembly, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull up my Gunworks AR-15 here to show you. So if I go ahead and edit this, this will be exactly, well, pretty much exactly the same screen you have there. You're going to have your top level item. We'll go back here and I'll just show you that. You'll have your select the assembly item. This item is your final built product. So in my instance, it was the Gunworks AR-15. And then down here in the components, you're going to be able to go ahead and add your individual components that create this recipe or this final build. So if we jump back over, and once again, just take a look at my Gunworks AR-15. This is my completed rifle, and here's my individual components going into the product. We have our Anderson strip lower. We have our grip and trigger kit, our stock, and then I have an upper. Now, yes, I know I don't have, you know, the barrel or the gas block and the tube or anything like that on here. I didn't have all those quantities in the system, those items there yet. But you can also see on the right-hand side, you're going to designate how many quantities each of these go into a build. So first things first, your completed gun and your individual components must all exist inside of your inventory and items list. You'll also notice that there is a update the existing bound book record here at the top. What this does is that simply takes your lower, if you're building an AR-15, for example, because your lower has the serial number on it, it simply takes that lower in your bound book and updates it and links it to the item. Me personally, I want to see this lower being disposed and being reacquired as a final built gun. So I'm going to leave that unchecked. Now, the next step is to actually assemble this product to start a build. So if I go ahead and I check on my Gunworks AR-15, I can go ahead and hit build, but I want to show you one more thing just to show you how this all works. You can see here that I have the Gunworks AR-15. I do have 2 in quantity, and then my individual components, I have 8 of each in stock. And I just made them all the same to make this quite simple so everyone can see the depletion of inventory and the changes as we go through this. So back in our assembly, I'm ready to start working on one of these products. I can go ahead and check the build I want to create and hit the build button here at the top. And now it wants to know how many do I want to build. Well, I'm going to build just 1. Now you'll notice that my status is defaulting to complete. However, I'm going to just switch this to in progress so I can show you. Any kind of notes you want to throw on the build, you can go ahead and notate that here. Now you'll notice down here, new serial numbers. If left blank, the component serial number will be used for the assembly. More often than not, you're going to obviously use the lower receiver serial number. So you're probably not going to use this box. So right down here at the bottom, we see our Anderson's manufacturing strip lower. I'm going to go ahead and click on the empty, and I'm going to select A1003. We'll go ahead. Now this is my serial number on my lower, and this will be the serial number of my final built gun. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and it's going to go ahead and start that build for me. So now if I take a look at the items, you'll notice that they're all still 8 because I have not completed this build. So back under our assembly builds, which is the next module, you'll see that this gun here is now in progress, and it shows the serial number that I'm going to create. I'm going to go ahead and check the action here. My guys have already gone through. They've pulled the components. They've assembled it. And I'm going to say that this is complete. So now, actually, before I do that, let me show you the bound book too. I'm sorry to be jumping all over, just so you guys can see this. So if I look under the bound book and we find that serial number here, the 003, you'll see right now it's sitting here as in stock, and you'll see it's been disposed from a lower down here. So it went from my lower receiver and disposed since we started that build, and it's acquired AM1003 as a rifle. So if I go ahead and edit this and take a look, you'll see that it's being linked to our new Gunworks AR-15. So everything is looking good there. I'm just going to simply go ahead now and finalize that build and deplete the inventory. So under assembly builds, we'll go ahead and we'll check the in progress, and I'm going to change that to complete and hit OK. So now, if everything's working correctly and looks right, we're going to see 3 quantity here of our completed Gunworks AR-15, and then we'll see the depletion of our individual products here. So that's really it for a quick walkthrough on the assemblies feature. I really think more people should use this component just in general. I know I have a couple guys who obviously do their own custom builds or their own manufacturing. It's going to be a real big component in that. And then I have a client that does competition shotguns, so they're always making left-handed, right-handed shotguns and combining components based off of what the shooter is looking for their own individual competitions.
Got a good question here.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer that.
Okay.
So the question is can we allow building an assembly if there's not sufficient inventory? The answer is no, because it really goes against the purpose of having the assembly module. The whole point is to make sure that you're not overbuilding, right? So it checks to see your inventory levels. What I'd recommend is if you have parts that are small that you don't have much value, like screws, just mark them as a non-stock or a service item, right? And in that case, it won't check the quantities. The other option is just always make sure you put a really high quantity value on those. But I would just recommend setting those as service items. And just to give everyone a preview, we are finally going to be releasing a disassemble feature. And
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, that should be here within the next, I would say, a couple of weeks. But there is a feature coming which will allow you to disassemble items, which basically reverses out what an assembly does. So an assembly takes out the components from inventory and increases your inventory of your finished good, right? That's the assembly itself. So there's a lot of terms floating around, right? Recipe is a great way to explain what an assembly is, but a lot of people refer to it in the manufacturing world as a bill of materials. And your bill of materials has raw items, which are the components, raw materials, right? And then you have the finished goods, which is your assembly. So all kinds of terminology. Today when I was doing some training, I was actually using a cake as an example. Because that's a fun recipe for me to talk about. Yeah, so the disassembly. So the idea is you built a custom gun and I don't know, it's not selling, right? So you've built this custom gun and someone comes in and they're like, you know what? I really want that scope that you put on that gun. And, and you decide, okay, I better disassemble this sucker because I can sell it for the pieces for a lot more. So a disassembly, again, if it's just an assembly that's not a firearm, obviously that just puts the components back in inventory. So if you disassemble one and it had 3 components, those 3 components go back into inventory. From a firearm standpoint, right, if you have a custom firearm, it needs to actually go back and dispose, right, the finished good, and then acquire back the components. So from a bound book standpoint, that disassembly becomes a little bit more challenging because you need to know what serial numbers were originally used, especially if you're now, again, if you're if you're an actual manufacturer, I'm not trying to insult anyone, but if you're an actual manufacturer that's literally stamping serial numbers on your finished good, that is a whole different scenario, right? Because you're taking a serial number and actually disposing it and then creating a new serial number. Most of you using this won't be doing that, right? You're not listed as a manufacturer with the ATF, so you cannot produce a new serial number. You would be using the serial number of the component. But again, we accommodate both scenarios, so it gets a little complex, which is why it took us a bit of time to work on the disassembly function. But that should be coming in the very near future.
Excellent. Charles had a question in here, and Charles, I'm going to have to send up a dev case because I do notice that as soon as I put that onto an assembly, it wasn't, I don't believe it was committing the inventory, but I will double check that. If there is an issue, I'll put that in. But yes, it should commit the inventory if you have started the build to that product. And that way it won't be available online for sale. So I'll double check.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever done that. So I don't
Okay.
think it's even a bug. I think it's just an oversight. So slight difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've never tied a step in the assembly to a inventory commitment. So, typically we started the assembly module with basically you go build it and it's done and there's nothing in between. So that is a good idea to make sure that we update that. See, you learn something new every day.
Absolutely.
That's a good observation. So we do need to write that up.
All right, I got that on
So
my
Josh,
list.
were you not going to go through the release note?
I didn't even get the release notes list.
Oh,
Dev
all
yesterday.
right. Well, you want me to throw something at you and put you on the spot because you love doing that?
Sure, let's do it. I'm down.
Hey, let's do it. Why don't we show everyone what we're doing with the kits, and I can probably walk people through what that entails. Did you know we're making a change to the kits?
I saw a couple things over there, but I'm not familiar exactly what we're changing on the item kits.
Yeah, well, we'll do a training session for you, except there's a whole audience here. So, yeah, so if you want to pull up your...
you ready, Oki?
I'm ready.
You want to pull up a site, one of our test sites that's on our beta, and you can just pull up. So a kit, right, is different than an assembly, right? Because a kit, where an assembly it's your finished product, right? So it really becomes one product, even though you started with 3 products, but it truly becomes one. A kit is more of a bundle, right? So I'm selling this gun with this magazine and this scope, right? I'm not manufacturing it. It just happens to be a kit. Normally if I add those together, it's $1,200, but I'm going to sell this kit for $1,100, right? If you buy all 3. So that's what the idea of setting up a kit. So we've got a test kit here, right? I don't know what's in it. Doesn't really matter, right? But if you scroll all the way down on this screen, what we've done, let's see, is, yep. So you'll see there's a new option, right? And that option, so previously what we did in my example, right? I said the individual components add up to $1,200, but I'm going to set the kit price to $1,100. What we would do is in the sales screen, we would go back and calculate the percentage discount, right? So if I shouldn't have done not round numbers, but if I take, a $1,200 item and it's $100 off, it's, who's good at math on the phone? It's very late for me at the moment where I'm
1,100.
Well, yeah, it's $100 discount, which represents what, 12% or something. So anyway, whatever percentage that is, imagine it's a 12% discount. We would just apply that 12% discount to each item in the actual cart, right? Which normally works, but you could end up with some rounding issues. So where it becomes a problem is if you take the discount off of each item, and then once you round things up, you don't end up with an $1,100 item. You end up with an 1,102 cent item, right? And again, the 2 pennies don't really matter, but they do matter because, obviously you wanted to sell the kit at 1,100, not 1,102 cents. So what we did, we actually now added an option that allows you to set the price of each component individually. So, and that's that option. So if I check that box and I then click on the component tab or the items, I'm stuck in assemblies. So you'll notice here that this particular kit has 3 items in it, similar to my example. I said there were 3 items in the bundle. In this case, I've got, I don't know what those are. It doesn't matter what the items are, but you'll notice that now you can set the selling price of each individual item. What's cool about that is in the example that I gave, where you've got a firearm, a scope, and a magazine, right? Maybe you want to apply a bigger discount to the firearm. Well, no, I'll reverse that, to the scope, because you've got more margin in the scope, right? So rather than saying, hey, it's 12% off of each one of these items, again, I don't know if 12% is correct, but whatever it is. I think I'm on the opposite. I think it's like 8%. So again, my math is not good at this time of the 1:37 a.m. for me. I'm in the Philippines, everyone. So if you want to make sure that you're actually discounting just 1 or 2 of the items more than the other item, this is where you can do it. You can just literally set the price individually by tier, right, for each component. And when you ring up this kit, and you can go ahead and change the prices, but when you ring up the kit, the actual pricing for each individual item will be based on what you entered in the kit. So again, gives you a lot more flexibility, gives you more accuracy when it comes to, if you are seeing some rounding issues, because again, the math, the way it works, it can definitely cause some rounding issues. So at this point, if we pull up that test kit.
Oh. I'll get there, guys. I'll get there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So at this point.
Oh, are we there?
We're there. We made it.
I was trying to, man, I'm late. I was trying to
except-
rescue you.
Except I deleted one of the products off of it.
I was wondering why there were only 2. What are you doing, Joel? You're like making it worse.
We're back. Tell me when, Okie.
See what we got to deal with every week, Ezra.
I don't want. Are you ready, Okie? It looks like you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm sorry. I thought I was on the screen.
Wow, you guys are so smooth. I'm so good I don't attend this every week. All right.
Wow.
Actually, I should. Then I'll have more to harass you about. But you'll see when Josh pulled up the kit, which Joel killed the screen. So again, he just rang up the kit. It brought up all 3 items, which is when you ring up a kit, that's what it does. We show you each individual item. By the way, you don't have to print each individual item. So your receipt, those of you who may not know this, you can actually show it as 1 line, or you can show it as 3 lines. That's one of the options in the receipts. When you print a receipt that has a kit on it, you can actually change the setting. But on the screen, we always show you each component of the kit. So basically, it's now pulling the price from the individual price that was set. So again, gives you just a lot more flexibility, especially if you've got tight margins on a specific item. You may not want to end up with in your profit and loss statements and reports, you don't want to show certain items at a loss. So you can play around with that and adjust the kit pricing really granularly in any which way you want. So gives you a lot more flexibility. So that's one of the nice big changes in the next release.
Excellent, excellent. No, I'm excited about that too. You know, obviously that is one thing that I've ran into where the discount calculation wasn't working appropriately. And as you said, you want to, you know, you want to show a specific margin, or you don't want to, you know, eat cost, et cetera, on other things. So I believe that's going to be a good change for us. As
Yeah,
far as
Dave, by the way, just made a comment that they're seeing the rounding issue with the ammo box kits that they have. So again, Dave, this solves that whole issue. You can just go back into those kits and just check that box, and then you can price the actual individual kit items, and that whole issue goes away. We actually saw the problem emerge at a range because they had a kit, you know, that included ammo and targets. And I actually saw it while I'm here in the Philippines. We're up to about literally 16 individual firearm locations. They're all multi-locations owned by 3 or 4 different business owners, but we keep growing our footprint here in the Philippines. So that's one of the things I've been doing. We actually took the team out to one of the ranges. We took a whole team out to go shooting yesterday. A lot of them never have shot. So yeah, it's been good times here. And that's where we started seeing this, not to say that, Dave, you haven't reported it before, but we definitely saw it happen here. So we wanted to take some action on it.
Yeah, and Charles, on that, I just typed you back. You'll see that on the items tab when we push the update. That'll be where the individual pricing is. You have to make sure on the first tab, item kit info, once this comes out, that the set price based on individual items kit, you know, with that checked, and then under the items tab, you'll see the different customer tiers and levels.
Great job on that, Joel.
That was quick. That was good. That was a nice transition.
I was muted and I was trying to ask you, like, hey, are you ready? And I'm like, screw it. Ezra already thinks I'm an idiot. I'm just going to go all in. Oh, man. That's awesome. Hey, so real quick, because we're going to be going over this in our Core Weekly, we're going to talk about why it's a good idea to have, like, why not have special builds in your shop? You've got all the parts. You got all the stuff, and you need to, like, give your place some culture, some soul. That's a great way to do it. But can you tell me, Oki, in all of your years in this industry, why people make or build ARs in their shops? You know, they give them special names or they do whatever. Can you tell me some examples of maybe where you saw people doing creative things or?
I can't. Well, and I don't want to give out actual business names, but
no, don't do that.
Yeah. So there is this one customer, East Coast, where you walk in and they actually have a display case for their lower receivers. So they have all their lowers, then they have a case for each component, and you actually walk through, and it literally is like Build a Bear. You walk through and you say, I want that lower, I want that upper, I want this buttstock, you know, and you go through it. And that's their niche. That's their business model. They have one person. It's appointment only. Basically, it's a one-on-one the whole time with the customer. So appointment only. They just go, and that's all he does. And he makes, you know, that's a niche. Everyone out there, you know, does distributor drop shipping, does, you know, just regular sales. You really want to set yourself apart. And he really has just a nice flow for it. You go through and it's like a buffet, man. It's like picking exactly what you want. And then, you know, you're getting something that's specific for your needs, whether it's a competition, whether it's for hunting, whether it's for, you know, just going out on the farm and blowing holes in pigeons, or, you know, whatever you're shooting.
Dang, dude.
So, yeah, but
Use
really,
pigeons and not doves. That's weird.
Oh, Joe.
I usually
And
use a break action old antique 410 for that, for shooting pigeons.
I
Guys.
thought you were just going to talk
I
about
don't go out
pigs.
with a I don't go out with a 5.56 and just start shooting holes in the barn. So,
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. My gosh, Oki, you're offending everybody today. Barn shooters and everything.
I'm going home.
Hey, but
Can slide him
seriously,
off the
Oki.
screen now.
Hey, Oki, for real. So does this person, do they name those ARs, or is it just like a Build-A-Bear? You come in and do it, or
Yeah, so they don't have any, they don't have any of their own custom names for each one, because
Right.
everyone is different. And now that's another thing you have to keep in mind. In our assemblies module, you are predefining your materials, where, if you're going to do something like this where it's going to be different hand-picked components, obviously those are going to be separate builds for you guys every time. So, keep that in mind.
Hey, Oki.
Yes, sir.
I just remembered while I was on site here, there was another really good use for the assemblies, which is they do reloading, and they're using the assembly module for the reloading.
To track their brass and all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that would be, and we have a lot of munition dealers, so
right.
Yeah, and there were a few things that we need to maybe look at to even make it a little smoother, because ideally what you want to do, what they're doing is customers come in with, maybe sometimes they bring the brass, sometimes they bring other components. So ideally you want to be able to create a work order that then basically it essentially ties to an assembly, right? Because you've got a work order for a customer walks in with 100 casings, and maybe you're selling them the rest of the primer, and I'm going to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I have no clue what I'm talking about. So yeah, I don't want to try to act
Nobody
like I
here
do,
should
but
judge you. Not out of this four.
yeah, you better not. No, I'm just kidding. You guys can judge me because I don't know what I'm talking about, but I thought that was a really innovative way to use the assemblies. The only thing that I pointed out was, man, it would be perfect if when the customer came in, again, they may have one component, they may have three components, where, sometimes they're just paying for the labor essentially. So I'm sure it would be interesting to talk to some of our customers who do reloading. I think we have quite a few, I assume, just to find out what their process is, and maybe we can do something to make it even easier, and to basically connect the work order system to the assembly process. Because if you think about it, that work order, you actually end up with the components that you need for the actual assembly.
No, absolutely. That's
yeah. Tony made a comment. Tony Compliance, never heard of the guy, but if we could figure out a cost of powder by the weight per bullet for reloading assemblies, that would be really cool. Yeah.
Somebody out there has that data.
I don't know. Talk to your robot.
Those guys that reload are the really good reloaders. They're very meticulous. So
yes,
I mean, you have to be if you want to keep all your digits.
For sure. I will mention, Josh, that this update, there's a lot of little bug fixes, a few enhancements, but I think there's, just so everyone knows, we are busy at work. We've hired more developers, more service folks. I am scared but excited to say that I think we've exceeded now 75 employees. And
when I started, it was only 40.
Yeah, so we've almost doubled now. But I believe there are 35 issues and tasks that will be going into, at least 35 into this this update that's coming in the next couple of days. So just keep an eye out on the release notes. We'll probably I don't know what you're going to do as far as the webinar. I mean, were there any other things you wanted to cover?
There wasn't. I really didn't have anything else planned. Security, going over assemblies, and obviously I was going to do the update notes, but I will when those update notes are available and I go through them, I'll make sure to put video or screenshots in on where you can find any new settings or new components for everyone. So there's a little tutorial for you. But yeah, I don't have anything else personally right now.
Cool.
Does anyone out there besides Tony Compliance? By the way, why would your
Good name.
where did your parents come from? Is that like Italian?
Fragile.
Compliancianzo or something? I'm just joking, Tony. So we got a little dead space here. Speaking of Tony, we've got a pretty big webinar planned for Thursday, April 10th, 1 p.m. Eastern, with Andrew Graham.
Oh, that's a big one. Are we advertising the heck out of that one?
Yep. And I think it's going to be a really good one. And we're going to be able to pull some really good content out of that as well.
Would be nice if you kind of pulled up a screen that showed the webinar and threw up the link to register for the webinar. I mean, don't you guys hate when I'm here?
I am
I'll get that.
I will, Josh.
In coreSTORE too.
I'm sorry, Josh. Yeah, it would have been really cool if I would have had that ready to go.
Before you
Joel,
mentioned
where
it,
would I go? Where would I go if I was interested in registering for this webinar?
You would go to your
Is it maybe on the CoreWare website under events?
Dang.
I mean, I'm just wondering.
What in the world am I doing? I'm sitting here stressing out trying to find it, and we've got it all right there. Thank you, Wits.
Really? You know, it would be nice if you shared your screen and showed everyone.
I am. I just got to get there first. All right, everybody.
Be sure to tune in Thursday where Joel won't be
By the
here.
way, I'm making sure that this is the last webinar I get invited to. So
Nuh-uh. No.
You can always join mine, Ezra. I like
You're not
when you're
getting
with
off
us.
that easy. Hey, so here we go. We've got this. We've got, if you guys are interested in Triple Threat, we've got that going on. We've got, I don't know if anybody's really visited our new website lately. We haven't talked about it, have we? Anyone?
I don't think you have.
Thank you, Fatma. There is a registration link. Obviously, I was prepared for this. It's in the chat, so you can just click on that, register for it. However, we want to go to our webinars here.
Go to Explore.
Did you guys hear me swallow?
Look at that. The 10th wasn't even on there.
I am so.
Hey, but in all seriousness, we are definitely bookmark this page because I know everyone gets a lot of emails, and there are really, and I'm saying this. Why did you stop sharing your screen?
Because that date's not even on there. I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead.
Oh.
I'm like, maybe he didn't see it. No,
this is why
doing
people
so
love
fast.
working for me, because I publicly basically
the reason,
embarrass
just
them.
real quick, so everybody knows, the reason we don't have it there is this was like, this is kind of a big deal because Andrew's kind of a busy guy, so we had to. I think we figured out we're going to do it tomorrow or on Thursday, just a few days ago. So it's we can't plan when you got somebody that important. And he is kind of important. I mean, he spent over 3 decades at the ATF. He's very, very knowledgeable. And I think this whole series is going to be good because you're going to get it from the government, from the compliance side, and from the retail side with Tony. So it's going to be really good. But I'll stop talking now, Ezra. You can.
Yeah, can you go ahead and share your screen? So typically we would have all our webinars here. The lame excuse of why this one isn't on there, I have no idea. But we'll make sure that it shows up today. But in all seriousness, we've got, and I'm saying this truly objectively, our webinars are really starting to become, not just related to CoreWare, right? We've got Greg Turner, who now works for us, who is doing just general retail advice. And I think he has a webinar coming up next about loss prevention. He comes to us from, he actually worked at Range USA for, I think, 10 years and then left the industry for a while. And I was able to fortunately snag him. And he's doing a whole series of webinars that I highly recommend to any retail whether you're in the ownership side or even the management side. I think his webinars are phenomenal. We've got Andy, he goes by Andy. And what's Andy's last name, Joel? I apologize.
Graham.
Graham, yeah. So Andy Graham, who spent almost, I think, 3 decades with the ATF, including hiring many of the ATF agents that are out there, and super well connected. We're really fortunate to have him working with CoreWare on various levels. And I asked him to participate in some webinars, just general webinars, to help really give some insight into just compliance and ATF, and not just what's written, what you can look up in Google, but definitely just from a hands-on experience, and a lot of experience. So this is just a person that has a wealth of knowledge, and I definitely would recommend to sign up to those webinars. We'll make sure to send out an email. I assume we've sent out some emails about this webinar that's happening Thursday. And
Yes.
we'll make sure to update, this calendar, because we want to make sure that all the webinars are on this calendar. Yeah, I'm glad I brought it up.
Hey, also for those of you that have seemed to have had problems with the link, if you just bookmark this page, this will take you directly to whatever webinar we're holding. So you can see right there, we've got an inception thing going on right now. And hopefully everybody's not sick right now. So, but anyway, this is a direct link to the StreamYard platform that we use, and that will take you right there. Now, I know some of you have had issues, and I've seen the issues. I couldn't make mine not work, but it could just be like regional thing. It could be all kinds of different things, but there's 3 different ways to watch. You can watch on X, you can watch on YouTube, and you can watch on StreamYard. And
the StreamYard link, Joel, that's the one that I usually send out. If they go to that
Yes.
webinar page, that's going to work flawlessly every time for you.
yes, but here's another one. If you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and you hit that bell for notification, you don't even have to worry about it. You'll just be notified. Same with X. I'm notified on all of these different platforms whenever I go live, and everything starts going off, and I get nervous because I forget that I'm being notified that our webinar's starting. So you guys just make sure that you've got those notifications on, and you'll never have to worry about a link. But Oki's always prepared with the StreamYard link in case somebody does show up and you're trying to get on.
Well, thanks Brian over at Aries for making me prepared with the link every week. I got you.
And here's a nice little prize that Joel sent me a private message on. But moving forward, if you go to our webinar schedules page and of a webinar that's not listed, Joel said he's going to buy you lunch.
Personally, right?
A private message, yeah, personally.
Hey, Joel, the webinar
that was
for
really
April
nice
10th
of you,
isn't on
Joel.
there.
I will.
All right,
I will.
Colt gets the first lunch.
I will. We'll do it.
I think we
That'll be
might need
fun.
to discuss the 22nd one, the April 22nd one. 'Cause
Why?
we might have to change that one because we're going to
We have
be
the boot camp.
on site with that.
We can just hop on real quick and just talk. It doesn't have to be a full. We can be like 20 minutes. You guys give a rundown of what you're
We can
working on
discuss.
and
We
how
can discuss
excited
later.
everybody is. Yeah. So anyway, I don't think we have anything else, and we're literally 1 minute under an hour, which is pretty cool.
Woohoo.
Thanks, Ezra.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Funny, he
Helping us-
shows up and
helping us fill up the time.
Well,
That was
I did
actually
see.
pretty cool.
It was shorter than
I did
last week.
see.
Yeah.
We'll need to follow up with Charles because he was asking for questions on employee management. They're trying to expand and not truly sure about keeping employees accountable for products. So
We probably need a little more detail.
I think he's trying to say like restricting their employees from modifying products and stuff.
Oh, for modifying.
Like a new employee that they have set up. They want to restrict them from being able to go and access products.
Yeah, and all that should be permissions as far as can you edit or change certain fields. So what I would recommend, personally, is kind of, hey, what do we want our sales associates to have access to? Do we want them to be able to create items? Do we want them to be able to delete, etc. And then building a permission template for you guys so you can auto assign that to your new sales associates. So if that's something that, Charles, you need some help with, go ahead, get a list together of what you want to block your employees from being able to do on the inventory side, and reach out to our support team, and we can guide you to find those permissions if you're having trouble.
Cool.
Oh, I got one thing to drop. If anyone has any sweet hats, like Shannon, you guys can mail them to me. I'll give you my direct address.
We're having some sweet hats made too. I just
Like
have
a coreWear
hat. The people that do the hats, and we're going to use Shannon eventually, but I'm trying to get some made quickly so we can
get some to Tombstone.
Because who was it?
Meyer.
Who was it? They didn't mention it. Thank you for that, by the way. But that'll be cool. Hey, this was really good. So keep an eye out for this week's Core Weekly. We'll talk about, why you should be excited about this Build-A-Bear thing, Build an AR thing. And
Build an AR thing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I've always said, years and years ago in the industry, I'm like, dudes are just like chicks. We want to doll up our ARs, just like a chick is with a doll. We want to do the same thing, right? You got the handguard, the sweet handguards, the freaking forward, the little grip that nobody really uses anymore. But back in the day, it was cool. So it's pretty cool to have a way for our customers to be able to provide that service. And that's more of a concierge kind of thing, like you were mentioning, Oki. That's really that one-on-one. You kind of feel premium.
VIP treatment.
Yeah. You're gonna build that. Oh my God, brain is just dead, right? That relationship with the customer. Not only that, if you guys are offering, Cerakote or anything like that too, I mean, there's just another option. Hey, you build this sweet AR, now let's give it a sweet design.
Or if you do like laser
engraving.
Oh, I can't think either, Oki.
Engraving.
What am I? Engraving. My gosh, man.
Engraving.
I think Oki and I need to be drug tested. But if you're doing laser engraving, that's another thing that you can add, because if I go have an AR built, I want it to be like the Joel Enforcer, you know what I mean? Joel Enforcer Mark IV or something cool. So anyway, does anybody have anything else? I feel like I'm falling flat on my face today for some reason.
You're looking great. It's good.
Hey,
it's
thank
my
you so
fault.
much. I appreciate it. No, it's not.
Last webinar I joined.
I hear music.
Oh,
Time to land the plane.
I hear time to land the plane. Hey, does anybody have any good dad advice?
Hey, Joe, when are we gonna unveil our new BFG song?
Oh, you gotta be
when we talk. When are we gonna talk about BFG?
I don't know, but I want to buy some freaking guns.
That will be it. I think. So you tell me when we're going to be talking about BFG. I can guarantee you we're going to knock some people's socks off with that music.
Oh, just wait. It's all coming.
Oh, it is going to be exciting. There's some exciting things in store. So really, everybody stand by. Hey, with that, I'm going to drop the link. I think somebody asked for the intro, the intro song. So I'm going to drop that in the comments.
Hey, why don't we have a page on our website with
our music?
Yeah.
I don't know. I leave everything on Suno, but I'll talk to Wits and see if there's a way to.
I need a morning workout playlist.
Yeah, let's do a coreWear playlist. We've got music playing in the office here now all the time.
We've got plenty of music too. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in 2 days for the ATF.
Yes. Corner. And we might have a special appearance with Tony Compliance.
I think Tony Compliance will be there. He'll be there.
I'm pretty sure Tony Compliance will be there.
I mean, even if he wasn't planned on
great.
being there, just for his name, we should.
Let's make
he's
him some
gonna-
shirts. We
He's
should
gonna
make
be
him
there,
some
all
Tony
right.
Compliance shirts.
Tony
I
Compliance.
think that's hilarious. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye,
Have a good
everyone.
one.
Thank you.
In the next one.
CoreSTORE's got more work to do. Until next time, stay in the know. See you soon. Now off we go.
I swear I did not mean to do that, Okie. We love you guys. Come back and see us.